Let's take a look at the Bond Bullpup 9 today. This is a very different pistol than others. First, you'll notice here it's got the trigger ahead of the action. So it actually is a very comfortable concealed carry gun, especially for people with larger hands. You can see your fingers up in the front, and it's got a very, very nice grip on it. But first, let's make sure the gun is clear. You can see here the magazines actually load a little differently. They load from the back, so you push them in this way. And the reason for that is because when you load this gun, it's got a reverse mechanism where it pulls the cartridge out of the magazine and then it pushes it into battery. So I'll go ahead and make the gun not hot. Yeah, so the Bond Bullpup was built off of the Bond Arms XR9S, and what happened was Bond actually bought Boberg back in 2016, and so they took over this design, and when they got done with it, they built the Bond Bullpup. So you can see right away the gun's just pretty. It's got nice rosewood grips. They've got the signature Bond symbol and engraving on either side. You can just see on the wood, it's perfect. You almost can't even see the line where the grips come together. It says right here on this side, Bond Arms, made in Granbury, Texas. These guns are made right in the USA. But the neat thing about the Bond is you actually have a little bit longer barrel, 3.35 inches, because just by the way it's designed, the cartridges come in from the back. So instead of it, having like a pushing out of the magazine, it pulls the shell out and puts it into battery. So let me go ahead and field strip it so you can see the insides of it. I'll probably cover this up, but when I pull the slide back, we're just flipping this tab forward, just like this, and then it comes off. So there you go. This little piece right here, which has the feed ramp attached to it, has a letter H. You want to make sure that when you're field stripping it, that's facing up when you put it back in. And look at that, the barrel has a letter H right underneath of it. Here's your recoil spring. It's small. As a result, it's pretty easy to rack the slide. So the barrel, you just tip this up and it comes out. So look at the length of that barrel. This is 3.35 inches long. And the gun, the actual whole gun, is only 5.1 inches long. So that's neat. You get a longer barrel in a small package. That's what makes this gun really special. You can see here, this is kind of the mechanism that pulls the bullet out of the magazine and puts it into battery. It's a reverse feed, and you could call this a claw mechanism if you want to. So if you're cleaning this, get your ballistol and just get a Q-tip, spray it in here. Make sure this rail's lubricated really well. And right here where the rail slides, down here, this whole area, this is your double action trigger mechanism. We'll talk more about it once I get it back together. So anyhow, that's it. Let's go ahead and put the barrel in. See this letter H needs to face up. So we'll slide that up here. There's your letter H. See, this whole mechanism slides together. And the barrel has a way that when it's fired, it twists and it gives it pressure backwards so that it's not until the bullet comes out of the end of the barrel that it starts to come back. Alright? You get your recoil spring, put it in here. This is the trickiest part, so I'm gonna go slow with this, because if you have trouble, it'll be right here. This area right here, you need to make sure that this spring is even with this hole right here and that rod goes through. So look, hold this upside down and just make sure this spring stays that way. There you go, comes out the front. And then flip your tab back. That's it. So let's look at the sights. They're in dovetails, and the neat thing is you can actually move the front sight too. So this front sight, when I sighted it in, I have it just about in the middle, And the back sight came from the factory close, but it needed to move a little right. So the double action trigger pull, 6.5 pounds. You can see it's really smooth. And it breaks pretty far back, which isn't bad for a carry gun, because you know what, it gives you just a little bit more time before you fire that shot off. Alright. They did a really good job beveling edges on this pistol. It's very dehorned. You could just see the machine work. This is all aircraft grade aluminum and stainless. Just give you a good look here. Even this area here, it doesn't really even have a sharp edge. It's beveled very nicely. And so, well, the first thing, if you end up buying this gun, you get a good holster for it. This is a Jackson Leather Works. They've been in business doing custom leather for over 15 years. They make a really nice holster for the Bond. You can see here, if you're carrying this all day, this is an inside the waistband holster for a right-handed shooter. And even without an undershirt, just up against your skin, this leather, it's very, very comfortable to wear. You can see they've got the tightest stitching. This is one of these holsters that you can just wear your entire life and give it to your kids, and they can give it to their kids. And it develops a patina, you know, as it gets scratches, it actually adds character to the holster. But John Jackson does a great job making holsters, so look them up, Jackson Leather Works. Put the magazine back in there. There is a list of ammunition that you want to look up. Federal American Eagles on there and Hornady Critical Duty. There's a very long list, but you want to make sure that if you do end up getting this firearm, you get the ammo that's on that list, because it's very important that that claw inside the gun can grab on to the cartridge and pull it out of the magazine and put it up in the battery. So yes, this is the Bond Bullpup. It's a different animal when it comes to handguns, but it has its place in concealed carry because it's very, very reliable. The 9mm recoil is not bad at all through this gun, and I like it a lot because it just has, like I said in the beginning of the video, for larger hands, it's easier to get that trigger pull when this part of your finger is up against the trigger, and you can see the trigger's pretty wide on this gun too, so that's even more comfortable because of that. But it just has a nice trigger pull. The trigger's further forward. It has a longer barrel. It's 7+1 capacity, so that's 8 shots, and then you can carry another mag on you with another 7 shots. So really, it's just a very, very high quality concealed carry handgun. Hope you enjoyed taking a look at this one, and one of our future videos we'll get out to shoot it. Drew 357, checking out.